I want to explain you Americans how you can make improve your country. Um, I'm seeing that you spend way too much money. So your income taxes are $5 trillion, and then your expenses are 6.7. That's a lot of money. You're spending way too much. This is causing you inflation and poverty. Okay, so to remove this source of inflation and to help boost the growing of your economy, you need to get rid of Social Security, which is $1.4 trillion more or less. Get rid of all Medicare, Medicaid, ACA, Obamacare plus CHIP, $1.5 trillion, all gone. That will help you reduce taxes in $3 trillion. No, sorry, it will help you reduce expenses in $3 trillion, which means that expenses would go back down to 6.7 to 5.7. Okay. You could also reduce a bit the military expenses by 50% to $5.3 trillion total expense of the country, approximately. Yeah, right. Sorry. No, yeah, you would go to 3.7. If you take it $0.4 trillion, you go to $3.3 trillion of total expenses. If you then apply moderate tax reductions, you could afford use the tariffs, your which is income money for you, for the military. You would keep that budget balanced, or you can maybe just spend it and have more tax cuts. But if you do this, you would be able to at least easily take down salary taxes, the federal tax in your salaries, from 28%, which is more or less the average, to 20%, and the corporate tax to 15%. And you would have a balanced budget. You would not be able to pay your debt fast enough or faster, but you would increase your the incoming amount of industry into the US, and it would really significantly help boost your industry. At the same time, you need to start backing your dollar. I've been reading a bit about Hayek and his thoughts on this, and he expressed the idea that you could do either two options. If you're really good using the money, you don't need anything to back your dollars. But this is not the case. One can see that the US is not really good handling money. On top of all these expenses I've mentioned, I know the Pentagon can spend money in things that no one knows that exist, or no one knows how they have been spent. So, you would need, having applied all these cut expenses, you would also need to supervise the rest of the expenses. Use AI to reduce the number of official workers for the country. Officials, that's how you say it, right? Funcionarios. And then you simply would need to apply these taxes. So if I ask ChatGPT, of course I've done this using ChatGPT because otherwise I wouldn't know. I was talking about Hayek. Yeah, you could use an index of 33 assets to back your the 20% of your coin, and you would need to set laws that it would impede the Congress or whoever is in charge of that, the Federal Reserve or whatever, to print more than 1% or 2% in relation to the GDP, and just for a national crisis. They would have to ask permission to the people in a referendum. So this is a change you also would need to apply. So what assets we use? All metals that do not deteriorate: gold, silver, platinum, iridium, rhodium, titanium, along with other like other assets such as wheat, oil, uranium, stuff like that, and you would be able to adapt it according to the economies and the tendencies and all that, because this index would be based on market prices, so it's not contrary to the freedom of the market. You would also need to stop banks from lending money that come from the deposits of savers, people who have saved money. They will need to loan money from the revenues. This would mean they would probably charge more you for their services. I don't know how much, but maybe $20, $30 a month or whatever. But this also means you will not be facing inflation. So I think that's a lot better. And this also means that people would need less banks for purchasing a home, for example, since companies would be able to sell houses by themselves, just as car dealers sell cars with some type of loans. If the coin is very well backed, because increasing the amount of money in the market, it would require the U.S. to buy more gold, silver, and all that in relation to all the money that has been printed. So it's another expense. This can help you diversify the sources of financing. Okay, I'm gonna ask now ChatGPT the impact of having this lowering of taxes and how it would impact in the creation of industry in the U.S. Let's see what it says.